Okay, welcome back to the Tech Motor channel and the next video in this series. So in the last video we had an epic fail. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this down, we're going to resmelt this, and we're going to have another go. I'm going to change my tactics slightly. I'm going to adapt the cope so that when I lift the cope off it brings the sound with it. And I'm also going to put the feed in a slightly different place, and hopefully we can get a good casting out of this. So let's give it a go. Okay, that's hard work. It's taken me about 45 minutes, but I now have a positive mould on this side and a negative mould on this side. So the next thing to do is to put a feeder hole in here, and maybe a riser over here, and then link this to the mask over here, whip this out, put them back together, and hope that it doesn't collapse this time. So that's what I'm going to do next. So it's a good sign, because when I poured it, it took the entire vat of aluminium and it came out of the air hole at the end. So I think it's actually taken. But we'll just have a look at the resolution, the definition when we take it out. But it's smouldering away right now, so I'm going to leave it for 10 minutes. Okay, so the last attempt was successful, and we've got a pretty good finish to it, quite defined edges, but still we're missing a bit on the top here. So I think with sand casting it's going to be a bit hit and miss, and we've got to make lots of parts, and I might want to make multiple parts if I want to do it again. So we've changed our tack slightly, and we're going to use concrete instead of sand. So we're going to make cement molds. So we've made a wooden surround here. I've placed my cement in the wooden surround. I've then forced my mould or my pattern into the cement while it was setting. I've put a few locator pins in here, just using a few pebbles, and then I've made a feeder and an air hole. And then what we'll do is we'll spray some WD-40 as a release agent, and then we'll make up some more concrete and pour that in on top. Once the concrete sets, hopefully they'll split apart, and then we'll have a mold that we can cast aluminium into over and over and over again. So if it does fail, we just split it, take the aluminium, put the mold back together, put the aluminium back in the smelter, and try again. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to finish this mold off. Okay, the molds are done. Only problem with this method is it is incredibly messy. So your workbench just, it's covered in cement, bits of wood. The mold or the pattern stuck to the mold, so that 3D printer is broken. WD-40, bits of wood. It's quite a messy process. But I guess once you've made the mold, you don't have to make it again. Problem is, I'm going to have to make a lot of molds, so I'm going to make a lot of mess. Okay, so the next job is to put the mold back together. So we have cleaned it out. We've just taken some of the rough edges off the face here. We've blown it with a jet of air to get rid of all the dust, and now we just need to put them back together. So I was going to stick both sides together by wrapping tape around it, but no tape sticks to concrete or cement. It just comes straight back off. So I have clamped it back together, a couple of pieces of wood either side, and just gently clamped it so that it doesn't fracture the cement, doesn't force it too much. And there we go, we've got our inlet hole, we've got our air hole. We just need to pour some concrete. Now these molds have been out in the sun for the whole day, so they're actually really quite hot, so hopefully that's got rid of most of the moisture out of these. So let's melt some cans and see if it works. Okay, so we got to another Saturday. We have two fairly successful attempts. The sand casting worked really well. Concrete or cement, not so much. I think it just takes too long to get all the moisture out of the molds, and I've got so many parts to make it that I don't think that's a good idea. But the sand casting attempt was really good quality. We just missed this bit, so I just need to refine my process, I think. The one I did on the cement, the mold was still had some moisture in it, and so it spluttered and coughed and didn't give me a good finish. So we're going to chop these up. So we've got the aluminium back. I've got a few ingots and bits and pieces from the last attempt, and then we'll give it one more go. another 2 attempts, another 3 hours gone. This time the molds, the sand on the top sagged ever so slightly and touched the bottom mold. So you can see on this one I've got a big hole. This one I compacted the sand a little bit harder, tried really hard to keep that gap. I did it really quickly, so when I put the cope and the drag together, I poured it straight away, but I still got a little hole. That's still quite hot. So yeah, 2 more failures to add to the list. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. It's definitely possible, but I'm doing something wrong. So if there's anybody out there that knows the answer, please do put it in the comments. Any ideas of how to get this right, I'd appreciate. But for now, call an end to this one. All right, I'll see you later.